ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Speaking of Queen Kunti, chapter 24 continued. So I'll have to wind up by 8:55 or so, because some book distribution work is there. So somebody's coming to pick up books, so I'll have to wind up early today. Just try to complete this chapter. So 24, last part. Unless the living force is present within the body cannot move or work nicely. And similarly, within the universe, the cosmic manifestation, Krishna is present as the living force, Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu or Paramatma. So three Vishnus, this basic philosophy we should know. Which are the three Vishnus?
कारणदकशायि विष्णु, गर्भोदकशायि विष्णु, क्षीरोदकशायि विष्णु प्रभु.
Yeah. And Karanodaka Shai Vishnu creates the universes. Then he enters each and every universe as Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu. And finally, he enters each and every Jiva as Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu. And Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu, where does Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu reside in the universe?
Milk ocean.
Yeah, Milk ocean, right? So Shweta Dvipa. So when whoever we generally call as Vishnu is this Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu. And this Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu is all the incarnations that come into this material world actually happen through Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu, it said. So he enters as Paramatma into each and every atom and also into each and every Jiva. How is Krishna all pervading? When we say Krishna is all pervading, what does it mean? Is Krishna himself present everywhere?
Plenary portion, Paramatma.
Okay. Okay.
He is present in the form of
Okay.
The super soul is present everywhere, even like when the soul leaves the body, like how the air carries the aroma. He's present there also, and he's present in the in what is left. He is present even in the mountains. He's all pervasive.
Okay. So Paramatma is present in every atom.
Atom.
And Krishna is all pervading by his energies. Right? We should never think that actually when Uttamadhikari devotees are seeing Krishna everywhere, it doesn't mean that they're actually seeing Krishna, Sham Sundar Krishna. They're actually seeing Krishna's hands, Krishna's energies everywhere. Right? So that way, that is why he is there and he's not there. Achintya Veda Veda. Right? Krishna is there, all pervading, but yet he's not. Because Swayam Krishna is not present everywhere, his energies are present, his expansions are present. Therefore, Kunti addresses Krishna as Vishwatma, the soul of the universe. Rascals do not know how this world is moving and how this universe is acting, and therefore they should learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have to, which is why this is the beginner's knowledge that we actually give. So we should give beyond birth and death, and we should give laws of nature. Right, so people will get a basic understanding of what this world is. Small books, you should give them. You know what you should do? Just gift whoever you know, well wishers, right? It will be like some 50 rupees from your pocket, right? Simply gift these two books. It will open their eyes. Beyond birth and death, Get some 100 copies in your house, and whoever comes, whomever you meet, just give them both these books: Beyond Birth and Death, Laws of Nature. Beyond Birth and Death, Laws of Nature. Very important, because otherwise people will remain rascals, as Prabhupada is saying here. They do not know how this world is moving, how this universe is acting. Therefore, they should learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. So those books are also part of Srimad Bhagavatam. Kunti Devi also addresses Krishna as Vishwamurti, the personality of the form of the universe. So this is also, we should understand the what is this Virat Rupa. When Arjuna wanted to see Krishna's universal form, Krishna immediately manifested it. This is another of Krishna's opulences, Vibhuti. Now this is also something which is generally unclear. What is this Vishwarupa? Can somebody say quickly? What is this Vishwarupa? Is it actually present? Is there something like Vishwarupa?
No, Prabhuji, it's like just to teach the like non-devotees Lord's whole creation,
Yeah.
including the mountain, sky,
Yeah,
everything.
correct. Yeah. So it is just to give it's an imagination. It's an imagination of a form. Right? It's not that actually there is some form, because Krishna's forms are all eternal, transcendental, right? But this universal form is transcendental because it's coming from Krishna, but it's material because it's just an imagination. It's something created by sages to as a first step for those who just simply believe in the nature or power of they can't understand subtlety. They want grossness, and this gross big, big means powerful for them. So there's this big person, Krishna, and that's his universal form. But like Prabhupada is saying, actually it's just a reflection of Krishna, or it's a representation of Krishna's opulences. That's all, Vibhuti. Prabhupada is saying the original form of the Lord, however, is Krishna with two hands playing on the flute. Because Arjuna was a devotee and wanted to see the universal form, Krishna showed it to him. But that was not his actual form. A person may dress himself as a king, but his real natural appearance is shown at home. And so this is so nice. See, we are trying to enter the home, enter Krishna's home. We are trying to enter Krishna's home. It's such a nice thing, right? Similarly, Krishna's real form is seen at home in Vrindavan, and all other forms are expansions of his plenary portions. So plenary portion, technically, it just means amsha. Okay, technically it's called amsha in Sanskrit. In English, Prabhupada has coined the word plenary portion. So you don't have to get confused. It's just an amsha. It's just amsha means actually it's a portion in the sense it doesn't manifest all the qualities that are present in Krishna. And an expansion of expansion, meaning amsha of amsha, is called kala. This is just for technical understanding. We should know some basic. These are all very basic. Amsha, kala. But Krishna's real form is seen at home in Vrindavan. So let's go back home. This is home. Right? We have to go back home. We're stuck in this nonsense material world. And we're doing things which will make us more stuck. No use. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam. He can expand himself in millions and millions of forms. Ananta Rupam. But he is one, Advaita. He is infallible, Achyuta. His real form, however, is the Dvibhuja Muralidhara. We should remember this. Dvibhuja Muralidhara. The form with two hands holding a flute. Therefore, Kunti Devi says, you have your universal form, but the form in which you are standing before me is your real form. So, yeah, some of these devotees actually help us understand Krishna's original form. Arjuna also said something like this. So, the real form is Krishna's Shyama form. Right? Not even Vasudeva Krishna. No, not even the Krishna in Dwaraka, Mathura, Dwaraka Krishna, Mathura Krishna. They are not original form, real form. In the sense, they are, but they are not. Because it's actually, if somebody does bhakti and has devotion towards Dwarkadish, they will go to Dwarka. Right? It's like it's like semi Vaikunta types. It's higher than Vaikunta, but the mood is like Vaikunta because Krishna is worshipped awe and reverence in Dwaraka. Actually, in Bhagavatam, Sukadev Goswami says that actually the Dwarkavasis only know of Krishna as Paramatma, meaning they don't by Krishna's will, that is the mood in Dwaraka. So again, Dwaraka is, I mean, for us it's just Vrindavan, so we don't have to get confused. Kunti Devi prays, please sever my tie of affection for my kinsman. We are thinking, this is my own, that is my own. But this is moha, illusion. Janasya mohoyam aham nameti. How does this illusion come into existence? It begins with a natural attraction between woman and man and woman. Male seeks a female and a female seeks a male. This is true not only in human society, but also in bird society, beast society, and so on. This is the beginning of material attachment. When a man finds a woman and they unite, this attachment becomes even more firmly established. Tayor mithor hridaya granthi ahu. These are all Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, I think. Now, after the attachment increases to some degree, the man and woman look for an apartment in which to live together. And then, of course, the man needs to earn money. When they are well settled, they must have children and also some friends to come and praise them. Oh, you have such a nice apartment and such nice children. In this way, one's attachment increases. Actually, this is so crazy, I mean, this attachment, even for devotees, of course, see, for people outside, yeah, this is the basis for life, right? Like, most of their life is just family, right? But for devotees, actually, devotees are also sometimes in this illusion of, oh, nice children, attachment to children, attachment to husband, attachment to wife, attachment to house, attachment to assets. This is not for devotees. For devotees have to come to the spiritual platform. Right? Otherwise, what will happen? We'll be stuck with this. Dayor mitho hridaya granthim ahu. So we'll be stuck. Hridaya granthim. This is like knot in the heart. When this knot of attachment is there in the heart, then there is no place for Krishna. There's only one place in the heart. Either it's Krishna or our so-called, home, family, etc. So we have to be clear whom we want to give place. If we are giving place for family, everything, then there will be very less place for Krishna. And of course, giving place for Krishna doesn't mean not doing our duties. This I'm repeatedly highlighting because I hear a lot of people complaining, especially husbands who are not totally Krishna conscious, but somehow I've just allowed their, wives to be Krishna conscious. When they speak to me, they complain, saying that, my wife doesn't do her. I mean, she doesn't take care of things at home and she's outside trying to do all these Krishna conscious activities. This is not at all acceptable. Prabhupada used to chastise his disciples when Matajis used to leave young children and go for book distribution or, go out not cooking at home, for example. These things are not at all acceptable. This is not at all acceptable. So some of these things have to be understood, saying that the basics of, I mean, if we are not taking care of the basics expected from us, which is our responsibility, and we think that we are so much progressed in Krishna conscious that I want to just do Krishna conscious activities, that is not correct. That is only possible, that should be done at Vanaprastha, and that needs to be done at Vanaprastha. So some people are on one end not doing their duties, on the other end others are not doing Krishna conscious. So both have to be done. Both have to be, I won't say balanced in the sense, do with intelligence, buddhi yogam. This is right. Manage things. If I say balance, then they'll say 50-50. Not necessarily saying balance, but it has to be managed well so that it doesn't create problems. Now, after that, yeah. So this nice apartment, etc. Okay. A student's education, therefore, should begin with brahmacharya, which means freedom from sexual attachment. If he can, he should try to avoid all this nonsense. Prabhupada is simply like nonsense. His whole family life is nonsense. If not, he can marry and then after some time enter Vanaprastha. See, This is what I keep saying. We have to retire. There is no question of, like lifelong employment, lifelong working for the family, lifelong actually working, literally, like, working in office or whatever, not for devotees. At that time, one thinks, now that I have enjoyed this attachment so much, let me leave home. Actually, this whole thing is said only because of our attachment towards material things. Right? Otherwise, we can go on. We can work till our last breath, right? But our nature is we work, we get attached. So if you can be actually, but like Raghunath Das Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you do, but don't be attached. And then Krishna will show you the way. So automatically, if you're not attached, then automatically we'll come out of it at one point of time. But most people, unfortunately, become attached. So that is why Shastra says, Vanaprastha, retire yourself, forcefully retire. If you don't forcefully retire, we'll never retire. We'll keep going on and on and on. Let me leave home. For us, we don't have to leave home. We have to leave the attachment to the home. But if the attachment is so much, then one might have to leave home. Then the man travels all over to various places of pilgrimage to become detached, and the wife goes with him as an assistant. So while Bhagavatam says that, even like Vanaprastha should even leave the wife behind, but Prabhupada is giving the practical approach for us. Right? Man travels. Basically, we should just do pilgrimage, not stay at home. Right? To become detached, not stay at home. And then husband and wife go out of the home. I mean, leave the home responsibilities to kids, whoever have to take care, right? And living home also makes us detach from the home as an asset, right? My home, it's not mine anymore, right? It's whatever, whoever is at home, son's family, etc. Now given over, end of story. And then go from place to place so that, we don't get attached to any one place. Oh, we'll go to Mayapur. Mayapur is so comfortable. No, go from Mayapur to somewhere else, somewhere else to somewhere else, and keep traveling so that we should not get settled anywhere. Nothing should become an object of our attachment except Krishna and Krishna's devotees. After 2 or 3 months, he again comes home to see that his children are doing nicely, and then again goes away. This is because they'll still have some attachment. So 2 3 months, once in 2 3 months, they can come see children. Okay, everybody's nice. Okay, if some advice has to be given, give, and then go. This is the beginning of detachment. See, we cannot without this, we cannot actually become attached to Krishna. We should understand this. When the detachment is complete, the man tells his wife, now go live with your children, and I shall take sannyas. Renounce order of life. This is final detachment. The whole Vedic way of life is meant for detachment, and therefore Kunti prays, kindly help detach me from this family attraction. This is Kunti Devi's instruction, Prabhupada is saying. So Kunti Devi is praying as an instruction for us that we also have to pray. So if any of us are attached, again, there's a big difference between being attached versus doing our duties. Whether we are attached or not attached, we have to still do our duties. Once the duties are over, like I said, Vanaprastha, which is when we get our children married, our Grihastha is over. Then we should make this prayer. And we should plan. For those who are not yet there, we should plan for this. Plan meaning make up our mind saying that, okay, as soon as I marry my children, I'm done. I'm not going to be engaged in any family activities. And then engage 24 hours in Krishna service. This is what is required. Right? So this is Kunti Devi's instruction. So we need to, Prabhupada says, right? Sharanagati means actually, surrender means that you mold your life. You mold your life, in a way so that we can actually live the way our acharyas are telling us to live. That is surrender. Because when we say anukulyasa sankalpa pratikulyasa varjanam, at what is anukulyasa sankalpa at that stage in our life is 24 hours bhakti. Right? This also I have told Bhakti Vinod Thakur's instruction guidelines for grihasthas is 8 hours bhakti, vanaprastha 16 hours bhakti. Right? So which is what the standards are for us if we want to go back home, back to God. I also previously told this 3 types of devotees. Swanishtita, Parinishtita, Nirapeksha. Swanishtita is going to take multiple lifetimes to go back to Krishna. Parinishtita will possibly go at the end of this life. And Nirapeksha will go even before the end of this life, which means that he is already ready to go back home. Whenever Krishna wants, Krishna will pull him out. He doesn't have to wait for the end of his life as like lifespan. Doesn't have to go through the normal death process. That is for Gnani. Basically, this Parinishtita is a Gnani, and a pure devotee is a Nirapeksha. And mixed devotees are like Swanishtita. Mixed devotion is like Swanishtita. So we have to be Nirapeksha. If you want to be Nirapeksha, without any apeksha, without any expectation, no attachment for family, no nothing, just simply live to please Krishna, you and Krishna, then we can go back to Godhead, go back home. And it's such a nice thing, actually. Just, this phrase, if you just think about it, it's about going back home. When we are out, when we are traveling, etc., we want to come back home, right? Because it's so comfortable, it's so happy, it's so pleasing. Um, so similarly, just imagine that this is like that person who's traveling, out of home and struggling and not feeling happy and just going back home. That's really what is required for us. That is what is going to give us real happiness. So we should plan for that. We should work towards that. Okay, I'll end here. If anybody has any comments, questions, we can discuss. Still 2 more chapters are there. Then end this. Okay, anything else?
Prabhuji, one question, please.
Yes, Mataji.
You say without attachment prescribed duties, but how do without attachment it's very difficult to even do your prescribed duties, Prabhu.
No, without attachment to without material attachment. That is why
Yes.
center has to be Krishna, right? For example, see if you are doing cooking, for example, right? Now we should do cooking as a way to please Krishna, and we should absolutely do it the most perfect way, right? We should put ourselves even, for example, taking care of children or our relationship with our spouse, it has to be done perfectly. Yeah, I even tell people who are working, right, as Grihasthas, I said, nobody should point a finger at you and say you are a Krishna's devotee and you're doing nonsense work, right? I tell them you do understand, remember, that's why wear a tilak can go to work, because you will remember saying that, oh, I am representing Prabhupada. I'm supposed to be a devotee of Krishna. So I should do my work so perfectly that nobody can point a finger at me. But that doesn't mean that we work like a donkey. I mean, we don't have to do more than what is required. But we should absolutely do it spotlessly, right? Um, so whatever we do, actually, see, we should understand in Varnashrama Dharma, every activity that is done has to be considered for the pleasure of Vishnu, right? So if you're doing cooking, it is for the pleasure of Krishna. If I am taking care of my children, it is for the pleasure of Krishna. If I'm working somewhere, it is for the pleasure of Krishna. Because just doing our duty pleases Krishna. This is Varnashrama Dharma, right? We should not do it for our satisfaction. That's the difference, right? But it doesn't mean that we don't remain committed. We don't remain invested in what we are doing, right? Absolutely, we should be invested, because it's a responsibility, duty. See, the word duty actually means that we are responsible for it. We can't be careless about it, nor can we be disinterested about it. But we should not be attached to it. There's a big difference being doing the duty nicely versus being attached. And unfortunately, we've not been trained in this, so that's why we can't make the distinction. Actually, attachment is on the material platform, right? Some people just do what example is? Can somebody give an example? It's not coming. Where it is duty being done nicely without attachment.
Just like serving army, for example. Right?
Serving an army, okay. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, yeah, in the material world, any example we think about, there is some kind of attachment that is there, right? Maybe social workers, maybe. but they also
Or-
have attachment. I mean,
Or
which is like,
mother serving a child, you know.
yeah, possibly mother serving a child may be a good example. But again, mothers are also attached, right? So it's a very difficult thing to show in material world because all modes are binding, right? So somehow everybody's attached. We can just think about, like, for example, Srila Prabhupada, right? Just imagine Srila Prabhupada's position. He's a Paramamsa, and he comes down to the platform of, Madhyamadikari, and he's cleaning the plates left by, the initial devotees. They used to come, they used to eat, they used to just leave the plates and go. No, Prabhupada was just doing that as a service, duty. I mean, why should he be doing? Um, anyway, it's very difficult, but this is the mood of, we can give the example of our Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, right? David Khas, and so they were working, but they were not attached. Raghunath Das Goswami, they were working, they were not attached, right? Because their heart was. See, we should understand this. When our heart is in Krishna, then none of these actually matter. Then we will do like Prabhupada, like our acharyas give this example. No, if a woman has a paramour as a lover, then she will do her housework very perfectly, so that nobody will doubt, like that. I mean, anyway, it's something. It's a skill. It's a way. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, this doing karma like this is a skill. One has to learn. One has to learn that this how it has to be. I have to do it because I've been given this responsibility. I have to do it well. Whether I mean, and obviously there's no question of disliking it, but I should not get attached to the results. I should not get attached to the role that I'm playing. Yeah, maybe we'll think about, there are some more easier to consume examples, but this is what Shastra is saying. Okay.
Prabhu, as you said, detachment means, is it similar to Karma Pala Tyaga?
Yeah, one is that's a good point actually. When we do Nishkama, or when we do Palatyaga, okay, let's take Palatyaga. There's a difference between Nishkama and Palatyaga. So when we are not attached to the results of our work, automatically there will not be attachment to the work, right? Because we are not attached to the results. If we don't remain attached to the results, we will not be attached to the work, but we will be duty bound. We will do it nicely, but we won't be attached materially because we are not attached to the result. That is why this is Nishkama Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma. Nishkama is without expecting results, right? Then automatically the attachment to the work itself gets cut off. Anyway, we can discuss this. This is a very, I mean, we discussed this in Karma Yoga chapter in Bhagavad Gita, but yeah, if there are more questions, we can discuss maybe in the next class. Okay, I need to go because there's a devotee who has a meeting at 9:30, so I can't delay him. I have to go and give books. Okay, so we will.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, just one request before you
Yeah,
leave.
yeah.
Can we one day can we just have a question and answer class where we could just trigger off these?
Okay, so what we'll do is after teachings of Queen Kunti,
yes,
we will have one session.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Very
Prabhu.
much. Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Vanchakalpadurveshcha Kripa
Hare
Sindhya
Krishna.
Pati Dana Hare Krishna.
Krishna Dandavat.
Hare Krishna,
Dandavat.
Prabhu.